Well, this is I guess a VR to Aaron. I am Bilake. But seriously, it's a video. I am trying to, I guess, help another a brand new pipe smoker, or somebody that's fiddled with it and that's going to maybe take this hobby on. So let's do this and gimgagi. So I wanted to start out with why pipe smoking is so important to me. I made notes to make sure I don't forget them. But I was a cigarette smoker until I was age 33. And, I quit. I didn't want to do it anymore. I kind of returned once or twice, smoking cigarettes for short periods of time. But I didn't like the smell anymore. I didn't get what I was wanting from it to be dependent. I couldn't do things. And of course, then I got into running marathons. But I missed a couple of key points where I missed after having a good meal and having that cigarette. I missed being at work and taking that 5-minute break to figure out how something went because I was stuck. It was that moment that you'd go outside, have a cigarette, you'd process the information that you were thinking, and sometimes you would just flick it away, run back inside, and get done with the project that you had going on. Another one was having a cigarette was rewarding. I remember going to work and opening up the shop, and you had to show up 10 15 minutes early, turn on the lights, get all the computers up and everything else, get the money into the registers. And it was the click of the switch on that door that would open up, and I would go outside and have a cigarette because it was a reward. So I kind of felt like when I stopped smoking, that all kind of went away. But there's one specific one that you really missed. That one's the near and dear to my heart. The best cigarettes I ever had was after having sex. You just done, it's whatever, 9 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, anticipation got brought up. Yeah, you're smoking. But that one after you just released, nothing like it. And those are kind of like those things that I missed about smoking, and I wanted to find that back in. And it wasn't just smoking a cigarette. I found it in a pipe smoking. It's non-addictive, but the time that I actually now calculate and I make time for, kind of like a cigar. You already know that, Aaron. You to get that personal time, that play a video game, go hiking or go for a motorcycle ride. It's all those things that you just go, I could add in a pipe and get to your destination and have a pipe. You can be done with the day's work and walk outside and have a pipe while you walk your property. I don't know what yours are going to be or why you got into it. I know that you smoke cigars, but we have to have a reason why you want to add it into your life. And some people have a pipe a month. Some people have 3 pipes a year. Some people have 12 pipes a day. And, I can say that some days I have none. I mean, if it's pouring down rain outside, I'm not going to go outside and have a pipe. You know, that's same thing with the cigar. I'm not going outside. My time is to sit on my back porch and reflect the day, or start off in the morning and I go outside and I have a pipe and I'm making my list for the day, like I did this morning. Got up, you know, took a shower, made the bed, went out, had a pipe. Me and my brother have a phone call every morning that we do. But during that pipe, I was scheduling out my entire day and thinking of anything that I might have missed. So, you know, that's going to be personal. And I think every pipe smoker probably has that exact same thing. Some, you know, what they call a codger, that they just always had a pipe in their mouth all day long and it was the same blend. We just live in different times now where we have thousands of blends of tobacco. But we'll get to that later. I am not a master. I'm not even a sensei of tobacco. All I can tell you is from my beginnings to where I'm at today has just been learning through the process of what where I'm at. And I brought out some stuff here to show you of different tobaccos, like the cuts, and then the different types of pipes, and then something else that might be able to help you along with this. But hopefully this is educational for you and specific, but I'm going to bring you closer. All right, so you can't see me, but I wanted to make sure that I got you into this. So the first one I'm going to show you is Flat Cap Piper's blend. You're not going to be able to find it, but you know, as you're going to tell, it's a very coarse cut tobacco, and it's not even and stuff like that. And typically I find that it's a little drier. And some of these have pieces that I'll show you later is like, it looks like it's been pressed. And that's what they do, is they press it and then break it apart and they add it to another type of tobacco. So if you want to learn about, Virginias and Latakia and stuff like that, you can do that research on your own. But you're going to find that out during pipe smoking, which ones you like and which ones you don't. But I am going to tell you, you do want to put them in a jar. So that would be my biggest thing. You open up a tin and throw it into one of these ball jars. So the next one I'm going to bring out is a flake. And that is a pressed piece of tobacco that looks like beef jerky with lines in it. And that you can either fold and mush into your pipe. You can break it apart inside a drying piece like this thing I got from a Japanese restaurant. It's different. That is definitely for sure. It burns differently, and depending on the pipe. But we'll get to those. The next one is the Nutty Irishman. If you like aromatics, then you're going to like this. But this is a fine cut. Again, I'm not an expert, but this type of product is so easily to be put into a pipe and pack it. It's just real fine cut, shredded tobacco. And then I brought out, there's a couple more. I don't smoke them. They have ones that look like turds, and then you got to cut it. So then you got to get a nice knife and a cutting board and chop it up. And I haven't gotten into those, but this is the one that I love. I call it the end. And literally, as you go through a tin, and let's just say you're at the end of a jar and you can't pack a whole pipe, I put it into this. And this is, 4 years of tobacco, of every single type of tobacco that I've smoked. So this is the, whatever that's called, the mixture of all mixtures. And I have one in my van, and I have one here in the house. And this is what I just keep adding to. And I leave the end out in my van. Now, next one, you know what? I'm going to change your look again. I know you're not here for me either, but you have different shapes of pipes and different shapes of stems, and that actually does change the way a pipe smokes. But you know, you have different hole sizes where you'll see if you keep progressing with it, some are narrow and some are just real thick. You know what? Let me go get one. This one I bought at a pipe show, and it's like Thor's hammer, but the bowl size is huge, and that's a lot of tobacco. So this would be a great one out maybe sitting with a fire, and you're going to smoke it all night. I ash my pipe, so as it continues to do, I ash it and continue smoking it. So as long as you packed it right, your tobacco won't fall out. But you can take a deer horn and use it as a tamper, but we'll get to that. So if you want to learn the names of the pipes shapes, you're going to have to find somebody else. But then you also have, I think it's called the billiard, and this was my very first pipe. It was the traditional, what I thought was awesome. And I pretty much still say it's my most favorite. Well, it's my favorite one to smoke intentionally for certain reasons. So another cool one I got at a pipe show. These were all, they call them basket pipes. They sell them for relatively inexpensive, and it's not cleaned. It might still have residue inside. You could run some washers, but we'll get to that later. But this kind of one of my more favorite pipes. I think this is called a blowfish. Again, just different looks, different styles. Oh, that one sits too, a sitter. And then, also really cool little design, has a little bent stem, also a sitter. But now you get into, there's different pipe things that they make it out of. So they have clay pipes, they have briar pipes, but this one is a ceramic pipe. And I will honestly tell you, for 20 bucks, I think they're 22 bucks now, relatively cheap, is a ceramic pipe. And I have this in this white, and I also have one in purple, just because those were the only two colors that they sold for that price. This one, what they call a ghost, is that you smoke a tobacco, and then you pack the same pipe with the same or a different blend, and you can taste what you had before. So if you had a cherry blend, and then the next one you go to is maybe what they call an English blend, and you pack it in there, and all of a sudden you're tasting cherry, well, that's called ghosting. I don't find that at all with a ceramic. Ceramic, every single time, it's almost the purest way that I've found to taste what a tobacco tastes like. So these are just a couple of them. There's probably millions of pipes out there. There's thousands of pipe makers. I got into the hobby and bought, my favorite poker, and I loved the brand because it worked, and I'm not a showy person. As you might have seen in the last video, is my most expensive pipes. They all gurgle like my ex-wife. Gurgle in means it's got fluid in the, I think it's not the stem, but whatever this part is, the shank. And it's just, the moisture is burned and gotten down in there, and it's just bubbling. I've never had that on the ceramic pipe, but I think it's the blend, and also I think it has to do with the pipe. Actually, I think it 100% has to do with the pipe. Now, with this hobby, I've come up with this. But let's go to the other one. So, we were going with this this travel bag. It opens up. It has a little area where you can put tobacco. I don't use that, but I do use it to put all my lighting equipment in. Matches, lighter. It's got a little side pouch here that I don't have anything in it. And then it has the other side, opens up to where I have my pipe and my pipe cleaners. And then you just bring your tobacco in whatever form you can. Or you can put it in here if, like, you're on a hike. Put that in your little satchel of whatever else. You get to the top of the mountain, and that's where I'm getting to. Is now it's where and when. What you're trying to do is find out where it fits into your life. And one thing that you said about the smell, and I don't know if it's the smell from you smoking and you come in and you smell like it, that's the best part. I love when I get it in my van. I love that smell. If you don't like that smell, I got it. This is what you do. Go to a thrift store. Go to the men's area. And pick yourself up a dress jacket that you like, that you fall in love with. I went and looked for one for you, but I couldn't find one that I would think matches you. And I think you're probably a large. I think you're medium, but you probably would want to buy a large. Like I'm a large and I'd buy an extra large. It's the best thing I actually ever got. Go to a thrift store, buy one of these. So I brought you in here because if you go back to one of my other videos about the super secret pipe smoking ritual that I did a virtual response to Slow-Mo Randy, which is SMR. Again, I forget the number after it, but I was gonna, let's go ahead and kind of revisit that. So you get an apron, because you wouldn't do this in real life because we're gonna get naked. I'm only messing with you. If you want to laugh, I did a whole video on the super secret ritual of pipe smoking, but that was for the people that have seen that video and maybe laugh. But definitely a nice jacket will help you keep the smoke off. Like if you're going to go out later and you don't want to smell like smoke, you know, put on one of these, brush your teeth, floss, and go to your function. Yeah, there's a process. I think your buddy even said it's, I don't remember what the word, but it is a process. You don't, it's not a cigarette. You're not running outside to get a fix. You're trying to find that time for yourself to think about things and then understand that you're going to have to take the time to pick your pipe, pick your tobacco. And we'll go into now this part. But finding where you can fit it into your life. And I thought about it and I wrote a couple things down. When you want to think, fixing your vehicle. What did you do? Hiking. Maybe not while you're hiking, because I think you are a fanatic about it. which is a good thing. But when you bring friends and you're like, no, we don't stop at the top and look around, it will give you the ability to, yeah, go ahead. You guys look around, take your photos, you take out your pipe and you pack it and you smoke it. When you're done, good to go. Put it away in your backpack, whatever, and continue it. But it makes you stop and go, hey, there's other people in the world. But like, I love having a pipe in my vehicle, because if there's ever a time that I have to wait for something, like I leave really early to get to places and then you get there in record time and you got 35 minutes left and you're like, well, I'll just smoke a pipe. Or, you go to a party and you're wanting your GF wants to chill out for a little longer, 20 minutes. All right, I'll be out in the car. Pack a pipe. It takes that agitation part away. You're at the DMV. Motorcycle ride. You're not going to smoke while you're on it. I don't think it would be a smart idea. But let's say you're like me. I need a reason other than to just go out and make a ride. I make up rides to go, hey, I need a pair of khakis or a pair of jeans. I picked a place 200 miles away and I went for my motorcycle ride and I had a pipe there and just relaxed. And then I rode home for a pair of jeans. Most people find the most local store that they can get to, a Walmart, Target, whatever. And I go, oh no, pick the furthest away and make it a ride. Oh, for you especially. Hold on. Perfect time to have it. When you're riding, you got that rider's block. Perfect time to go outside and have a pipe or a cigar. But reading. Good Lord. Both of these sit at the side of my bed. I have the Rational Mail too, but there's so many ways that you can incorporate it if you want it and if you like it. And you need to break a writer's block. If you wanted to, you go down a rabbit hole and find out how nicotine stimulates the brain. And that's why I would go out and have cigarettes and, think about how I can do something. That's what the pipe does. It gives you that little bit of nicotine hit without being addicted to it. And it gives it to you to enjoy life a little bit more. So, just find out where and when you're going to go and have a pipe. But I think you can fit into your life. Again, you're not going to be able to see me, but this is the more important part. You got your pipe, you picked it out. You got a little area that you can dump some of this out into, the tobacco, and you've picked your tobacco. Now, today, I have gone and gotten this United Card and Smoke Shop out in Denville, New Jersey. I got this with my brother during the holiday time, and it's peppermint mocha. So we get tobaccos places that remind us of where we were, and you can relive that time period, on a 20 to 40 minute smoke. So I dump it into this 90% of the time. Sometimes if it's at the top, you can just pack it right over there, but then it falls all over the place. So if you pack it here, what you're going to do, take a little pinch, pack it in the bowl. Take a little pinch, drop it in the bowl. Take another little pinch, pack it in the bowl. Yeah, I'm not packing hard. I'm just getting it filled up. Now it's there. I'm going to pack it down. I was thinking, the Snapple bottles that had the pop, that's kind of the amount of pressure you want to put on there. It's very simple. And you just pack it down a little bit. And when you start getting a little resistance, and going like, oh, and you go a little firmer on the push. You know, some people say touch it like a baby, then touch it like your wife, and then touch it like a man at the end. I just use, you come up with your own process. So I've gotten to that. It's a little hard. I take another little extra pinch. It's feeling pretty good. And that's it. Got a nice packed bowl. Take this, dump it back in. I can use this as a pipe stand if it's going to stay in there. A little bit of encouragement. Got that. Let's go outside. All right. I was going to do this in the shed because this is called Shed Happens, but Shed Happens and with a jacket, and it's fucking hot as balls out here. I'm gonna go here. I might even have to take off the hat because, well, maybe I'll go this way. How you light a pipe. One thing I didn't address before is pipes, some of them, let me get closer for you. Some of them have filters in them, and I like filters. I've smoked them without, and I've smoked them with. Some people use screens. Some people use like screen cages. I've tried it all. What I found out is that water resides down at the bottom of the bowl when you put a screen in, and then it gets sour. So I've learned, just put a filter in. You don't get tobacco in your mouth. Now, some people, like cigar smoking, tobacco in your mouth is normal. Spit it out. Me and my pipe, I don't want to be spitting. But that's me. So basically, easy. We packed the pipe. It's a little down. Maybe you carry it outside with your thumb on it. That's going to do enough for you to get it going. So you have it there, put it in your mouth and get it lit. But this is the trick that I found. Get a nice char on it. Char. Take your tamper. Can't have too many tampers. You're going to lose them. One in your car, one in your kitchen, one out here at the shed. And you're going to tamp it down so it's packed in. And the reason is when you light tobacco that has moisture, it kind of explodes. But what you're trying to do is compact it and make it combustible and ready to be able to have a pipe for a while. Then you go to your second light. That one's not as long. And now you have a lit pipe. Sometimes you got to get it going. Sometimes you got to put your hand over it. Kind of like a campfire, you know. Make it breathe. Now, you get it lit and it's going to go out because you have friends and you're sitting there talking and you're making anger signs or making those other ones. You've already learned those. But I don't like talking while I have a pipe in my mouth. On videos or with people. Unless if I'm in the middle of something that I need to get out, I don't like to talk. You talk like this because you got something in your mouth. Me, if you keep a draw on it, and you're sipping whiskey. I know you don't drink, but think back. Just sip. Allow it to come into your mouth and blow out. Now some people retrohale. That's like getting it down and being able to blow through your nose. Oh, that burns the hell out of my nose, and I feel like it must be that bad that I shouldn't be doing it, and I'd be afraid that it would affect my taste buds. Because, you know, what do they say? 80% of what you taste is through smell. Why fuck around with the olfactory? You know what I mean? And yeah, the goal is to get it lit while you're doing auto mechanics or whatever else, or, you know, walking the dog, or, you know, if you got the dog of no real value, you always keep a lighter with you, because if you're walking the dog or you're outside, it's easier to grab it from you than walk back inside and grab a lighter. Don't ever trust your nut, no matter what, no matter how many years you've been doing this. If you watch enough of my videos, what's the one thing I forget? The lighter. I literally left to do a video, got all the way there, got halfway through my video, and I realized, well, motherfucker, you dumbass that didn't bring a lighter. I had no lighter on me, so now I have tons of lighters. I buy the 50 pack. My van probably has at least 5. So anyways, let me just review and let me make sure here. One thing, you're in the learning process. Take the shittiest tobacco you have that you don't really like and just practice. So it goes back to my injury to my back, where I couldn't walk or walk that well. It was the only hobby I had left, was something I just started 3 months earlier. And it got me to get out of bed and learn this hobby. And it took me 6 months to be 99%, unless if I forgot a lighter, to be able to smoke a whole bowl without it going out. And I thought that was, I've reached the holy grail of pipe smoking. I'm a choocher. Some people say it's all part of the hobby. Everybody has their own taste. Everybody has their own likes in life. So some like, you know, blondes. Some like redheads. Some like boobies. I just kept hitting it, and even my very first video was me smoking a pipe in front of my W800. I relit that so many times, and I said, oh, I finally came up with it. Pipes at the end of Blake is I motorcycle, I pipe smoke, I kayak, I do things, I shoot guns. Everything has to do with a pipe. I don't know why. I like pipe hobbies, I guess. I like to put my thing in a pipe. Yeah? Yeah. But that's how it is. And then just keep toking on it. And if you're telling a story, do the pause. And then continue your story. Or you see it going out, that's where the 2 fingers, kind of like that, suck in while, you know how to do it. Suck in while it's, what is that called? Constricted, and then release. And anyways, things I've learned. Mine still goes out occasionally. I still pack a bad bowl occasionally. I pack less than 5 bowls poorly a year. Some days I smoke 0 pipes. Some days I can smoke 5. When I was injured, I was probably that 12 pipe a day guy. Got me to go outside, got me to do stairs, it got me to walk. Like basically it got me to do something. But I couldn't run. As you can tell, I'm not physically fit anymore. That's how I always kept fit, was running. So that got taken away. Motorcycling got taken away. but it was the pipe. Did I build a bond with it at that point? Probably. Maybe that's why it became such an important part. But the people and pipe smoking, that was one thing that I forgot to mention. When I used to smoke cigarettes and you were at some kind of function or whatever else, a funeral, a wedding, at a work event, the damn people outside smoking were the best people in the entire world. They were down to earth, real freaking people, you know? And going to a pipe show, I was thinking, I'm going to sit around and smoke a pipe all day? I mean, that's like sitting around smoking cigarettes all day. I don't, oh no. It's a whole community. You talk about other shit. You talk about motorcycles. You talk about cars. You talk about all the other stuff. It's just, we're all connected with a pipe. And when you find another pipe smoker in the wild, what has it been, 4 years? I'm on my 5th year of pipe smoking, fourth year. I don't remember if I'm in my 5th year or I've smoked for 4 years. Anyways, 5 people have I found that smoke pipes out in the wild. You go to a pipe show, you're gonna find everybody. But I'm talking about, I was getting batteries changed on my my watch, and I walk in, I drop them off, and come back out, and there's a dude in an old pickup truck sitting there smoking a pipe. Up at the Kawasaki dealership. See, pipe went out because I was talking. And here's an ash. Here's an ash of a, and some of it doesn't want to come out, so. Anyways, about the Kawasaki dealership, I was sitting there waiting for service to be done, and I got this waft of smoke. It wasn't a cigarette. And I look over, and I don't know, 20, 30 feet away, there's a man sitting there smoking a pipe. I wasn't smoking one at the time, but I was sitting out there, and I look over, I'm like, you smoke a pipe? Good friends. Time went by so quickly to get my bike, and even they called my name, they come out, they yell it. I was just like, I'll be in a minute. Let me, I finished talking. I didn't mind waiting longer. Boy, is it freaking hot. I think I got everything done. As an extra, if you can't smoke a pipe, you can always practice. These are my 2 exercises. As a physical therapist assistant, I have to give exercises, right? So, you might want to pick something up and put it down. Pick something up, put it down. Kind of like your retaining wall. Blow and suck. Blow, suck. 3 great exercises. See? Actually, it's funny because you don't really blow. Anyways, you blow, but you suck in still and blow. Anyway, let's go inside. Again, not in the shot because, well, let me turn on the light. I don't know if that helps. But you have your pipe, you come in. Some people say don't ever open it up when it's hot. Me, I don't care. It cost me $20. I don't care. Twist off. Don't pull. I twist typically in the same direction I put it on. Take off your filter. That's garbage. I take a pipe cleaner. I like to start where the mouth is and push it down. I don't like shoving it up because that takes all that crap and pushes it up to the mouthpiece. So I start off and just work my pipe down. Now, that's coming out. I pull it through, bend it in half. Now, I know I say I don't jam up, but hopefully the first push through it got it out. Push that in, and I just kind of clean out where I can on the side of the walls. They have fluffy ones, these, but they don't fit in all my pipes. Then I correct it, straighten it out again, shove it through here until it goes through until the inside the bowl. Flip it, use the other side. Now, as you can tell, that one's dirtier than the one I just shoved through. I'm fine with that cleanliness. Again, I fold it in the, what is that, quarter, and I clean out, it's not the stem, what's the shaft. So that gets you a little bit of that. And then this is where it gets interesting, is I just kind of mesh it up a little bit and throw it down here. I want to point because I want to get down to the bottom of the bowl. And I just start swirling it around and I spin the pipe around. And the reason why I do this over the sink is because anything that falls out, you could do it outside, it's fine, but I just do it inside because guess what? When I'm all done, you know, you get the residual off. Yep, some of that's going to be on there. I'm not going to clean this until I don't have a clean thing. And then this is all garbage. Take the new filter, put it back in. Oh, one thing I do, I said do, is I push these little ceramic tips in. They say they're ceramic. I still think they're plastic. This thing has an M on it because it's muxiang, or muxiang. And I put it back on so it's straight. And I put it back right up there with all my other pipes. That's it. That's all. Now, if you want to get into fully cleaning your pipe, I do that maybe once every 2 years. You got to get, let me bring you over here, coarse salt, and then like rubbing alcohol, or what is it called? Absinthe, whatever that's called. At the liquor store, the 100% alcohol or whatever. You can run pipe cleaners, you know, dip it in and then clean it and keep using pipe cleaners. You could use 10, 15, 20 of them. And I could get into reaming pipes so when the cake builds up inside the bowl. But, you know, you're 2 years away from doing that. So embrace the suck, because there's a lot of there's a lot of it. You go out and you don't have a lighter, you get out and, just thing goes out and you got to keep relighting because you mispacked it. There's a lot of suck into it. Well, a lot of suck into pipe smoking. So. All right, brother. All right. These are the extras. Expensive pipes, I have found they're not worth it. My most expensive pipe absolutely sucks, and I actually own 3. All 3 of them gurgle like my ex-wife. Filters, definitely over screens. Some people go no filter, but it actually takes the moisture out unless, I believe, it's less opportunity to get tongue bite. You'll find out about tongue bite. You'll hate a pipe for maybe a day or 2 or 3 before the tongue comes back. I like aromatics. Some people don't. I like flavor. I like all of them though. I mean, I find that I smoke certain ones at certain times. But then again, like Latakia at night is wonderful, like a blend with it in there. And then I've woken up one morning and went like, that's what I want. So the blends you don't like, put them in a ball jar and let them sit. I've let tobacco sit for 2 to 3 years and open it back up and try it again. And either my taste buds have changed or the tobacco mellowed out and it really became a really nice blend. Or you can take the ones you don't like and maybe you found the other one, like the Latakia blend, might be a little too much for you, and you go, you know what, let me add this stuff that I don't like into this one and see if you can blend it. Gets you into making your own blends. I've never heard anybody complain about me pipe smoking. Everybody comes over to me. That's the bad part. People will come over to you and want to talk, and they'll tell you about their grandfather. They hadn't seen a smoker in so long, a pipe smoker. Oh my God, I love the smell. Do you smoke cherry blends? They want to talk to you because they're intrigued, but it's the smell. You can smell a pipe smoker a mile away, and it's not in a bad way. It's just, is that? Yep, somebody's smoking a pipe. A lot of other people probably don't even know that. All right, that's it. That's the end. That's the big finale. Now get the fuck out of here so I can take a shit. Another thing, you can go to the thrift store and buy one of these bad boys. Put your pipes, put your tobacco, everything else in there. Put the GF's liquor in there. But, you know, cigars, everything can go in there. My little medical bag for when I go off and to places where I need everything. Anyway, just an idea. Just don't go overboard like me, because I have I like tobacco. And the price is going to be ridiculous in a couple of years. Hey, just about to take off, but I hope you like what I sent you. See you, Space Cowboy.